Hello, everyone. How's it going? And yes, welcome to yet another edition of 27 Outs Live. I, of course, as always, am Ivan alongside Stefan. And it feels good to be back for yet our second episode of the 2025 regular season. Shout out to everyone for all of the love, I must say, that we got. Not just on last week's video, but even the shorts, man. I put out a couple of shorts on off days. If you know, you know. That's what we do now here on 27 Outs on our off days. And you guys showed us a tremendous amount of love. I mean, not just on TikTok, but on YouTube, IG as well. Shout out to all of you guys, man. It kind of feels like we have three different families. We got a family on YouTube, you guys being the headquarters, got a separate family on IG, and then we got a whole completely third family on the TikTok. By the way, man, the TikTok looking scary. I'm hearing there's gonna be another shutdown, and there's got to be like an extension. We'll get into that later tonight at some point with you guys during the chat. Yo, but Stefan, man, we were on the phone yesterday. We were talking about tonight. We're talking about this very moment right here. How are we going to approach tonight's show, this and that? And then just a couple hours ago, we're hit with something that, I mean, we have to address here tonight, bro. Other than that, before we get into it, how are you feeling? You know, just more days of baseball and plenty more to come.
Yeah, no, I'm good, man. We working. You already know how it goes, man. I got the profile news about 10 to 6, and so we went to work, man. But it's been good. Just watching a shit ton of games and just getting ready for tonight. But how do I address this without sounding like I want to punch somebody in the face? Before we even like address the baseball side of this, I just want to address the human side of this. Jefferson Profar was suspended 80 games for taking a banned substance. The same banned substance that Manny Ramirez was caught taking a couple years ago. I have a question, and I mean this legitimately from the bottom depths of my soul. When you say the statement, oh, I'd never willingly put something in my body that I know didn't belong there, you need to be suspended for the whole season. 162 for saying something so stupid and egregious like that. There shouldn't be an 80 game suspension. The shit should be 162 game suspension because you knew what you put in your body and you chose to do it anyway at the expense of your team, who, by the way, just paid you more money than you've ever gotten in your major league career. Can somebody please explain to me what the fuck is the purpose of these statements where you say, oh, I willingly didn't know. I didn't know what I was putting in my body. Oh, you didn't? You didn't? You got trainers all over the joint. You got the team trainer. You got everybody with the Braves that could have told you, hey, Jerickson, don't take this. Don't take this because it's going to come back. And once it reads, they're going to catch you. Why do these players still think they could skirt the system? You can't skirt the system.
So I'm glad you said that right there, Stefan, because yeah, I think we now officially know why Profar had the season that he had in his walk season with the Padres last year. I don't think there's anything else that makes sense in regards to that, I should say. But it seems like he had actually already taken something that he should not have been taking, which led to him now using something else to cover up what he just finished using. So doesn't that make it two illegal substances, right? If you really think about it,
if you think about
you
it,
just didn't get caught the first time.
Yeah, if you think about it, what he took was a masking agent to try and combat what he took the first time, which is even worse, which makes your statement even more asinine. Oh, I didn't know. What do you mean you didn't know? You were taking a masking agent, which means you knew this was wrong, and you. Why every time this comes around? Forget about Jerickson Profile for a second, but why is this the line that we all love to use? Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know what I was willingly putting in my body. What the hell are we talking about, bro? And listen, I understand it. You do a lot of traveling. You need something to recuperate to get you on the field. That's why I believe Major League Baseball themselves should team up with a pharmaceutical with a company to make a regenerative medicine, something like a gel or something like a pill that Major League Baseball is okay with, to allow these players to take it to help them stay on the field for longer to maximize their talent. Now, if you take something outside of that, then it's fair game and it's open season. But come on, Jerickson Profar, my boy, to act like we didn't know, you didn't know what you were taking. You sound nuts.
And to top it all off, too, we had a brief conversation before we went live here tonight with you guys. But Stephen, you shared something interesting with me, where apparently Profar was, giving credit to how he spent his off season with Fernando Tatis Jr. and his father.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry to say, and I don't say this from the standpoint of, oh, well, I don't like Tatis and I don't like steroid users. Listen, at this point, one thing that we know for sure is that it has been a part of the game for many, many years, right? Not just that, but come on now. Are we going to forget what Fernando Tatis Jr. himself did just 3 years ago? Like, I'm just saying, whether you still think he's a part of the future of the game or not is up to you. And I'll leave that up to however you view it. But I just want to put it out there who he is giving credit to when it comes to the improvements. And as you mentioned, Stephen, finally being able to land his contract with the Braves.
The richest contract you've ever gotten. And you're going to do this? You're going to do this? And if you're the Braves, you got to be beside yourself. We gave you all this money, and we needed a left fielder and a leadoff hitter because Ronald Acuna is probably going to be the DH for a little while, and you do this? I cut him. I cut him right now.
Right.
I cut him. Fuck those 2 other years. You getting cut right now. Soon as your suspension's over, we're done. I'm done with you.
So here's the thing, right? Even though I know you said that he should be, well, not just him, but any player who gets caught the first time, you think they should get suspended for a full season.
No.
But if he, in this case, got suspended 80 games, he can come back. But I don't think he could perform for them in the postseason, though.
He can't. No, he's postseason ineligible. What I'm saying is the reason why I believe he should be suspended for the entire season was because he took a masking agent. You don't take a masking agent if you know, hold on, wait, whoa. I'm trying to flush out the system. I got to take a piss test. Something's about to go down. What?
Right.
And here's what I'm going to tell you. This is why I think these teams are a little bit naive, too. You telling me you didn't check out not one of Jerickson Profar's piss tests, not one of his, when it got sent to the lab, you didn't get wind that something was coming down? Maybe they did get wind of something coming down, which is why they signed Alex Verdugo. Because that was a head scratcher for me. When you saw Alex Verdugo, I'm like, why did they sign Alex Verdugo? They got outfielders. You got Kelnick, you got Profar, maybe they knew, something's coming down. Let's sign Verdugo. Let's get him in here. Couple spring training at bat. Let's get him right. Because we knew that this was coming and we needed bodies to supplement the loss of this dude. This is unbelievable.
That's a great point. Because I know about the Verdugo signing, right? And I think a lot of people thought it came out of nowhere. And at that point, it had been, I don't even think he had gotten any major league offers, right? Like I remember reading a few pieces and
Brandon Cuddy
Brandon
Cuddy of the Athletic, who covers the Yankees, reported that he hadn't even gotten a major league offer. And to know that,
right, yeah. It's interesting because you signed Verdugo, which makes me wonder, maybe they did or didn't know. In the case of the Braves,
I think they did.
How far back is this testing? I'd like to know when exactly this happened for it to happen this early in the season.
I would assume that it happened relatively early in the season, or probably during spring training. Because if you notice, they signed Verdugo right at the end of spring training with like a week left. So I would assume that they knew they were just waiting for Major League Baseball to gather the facts. And they were just trying to see what they could do to combat this. But the good thing, the Braves don't have to pay him either while he's suspended. So the chunk of game, that 80 games he's going to miss, they don't have to pay his salary.
Right.
which is another thing. It's not like profile. You're not swimming in money, my boy. You're not swimming in money. What you made $1 million last year?
The crazy part is too, he's a guy who's been in the league for some time now, right?
That's
Like I know it
crazy,
took him a
bro.
while for him to finally be able to have like that breakout year. But come on, Pro 4. I mean, all these years just down the drain.
That's
And now when
crazy.
you suddenly get paid is when you decide to make one of the most dumbest decisions of your career.
I mean, but that's how they all do it. They all figure, yo, I'm chasing this bag, but they don't want to lose what got them the money. So they figure, let me take a risk that's unnecessary and try to make sure that I'm maintaining my level of play throughout the contract, however long it may be. That's why Alex Rodriguez felt pressure to take steroids. That's why I believe Profar feels the pressure to take what he took. Because it's like, damn, can I live up to this contract if I don't have the additional help? I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's the reality it seems like most of these players live with, because there's a lot of pressure being in the big leagues. And I think that's the human element that comes into play with this. But also, if you know if you know you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing, yo, go to the Braves. Come clean. Be like, yo, I did this. They about to pop me. You know what I mean? What do we do? Like, if I'm the Braves, I wouldn't even brought them to San Diego. Yo, you're staying in Florida. You're not even going to come with the team. You're not even breaking camp with the team. You're going to stay back here because we know they're about to suspend you, and we'll figure it out. There's no sense in him even being on the fact that he played these 4 games in San Diego was meaningless to me, because it's like, yo, bro, you knew he was about to get suspended. And then I love how the Braves always surprised to learn. Are you surprised when I believe all these tests, they come out like a week to 10 days in advance? Like, something's coming down. So they had to play with, oh, we didn't know. But if you didn't know, how come Alex Verdugo got signed to a major league contract? Notice when Alex Verdugo got signed, it didn't say minor league deal. It said major league deal, which means you had an idea that this was a possibility and you didn't want to get caught with your pants around your ankles, so to speak. Craziness.
Tough way to start the season, man, honestly.
And you go 0-4. Oh, and by the way, guess who you got tonight? You start a 3-game series with the Dodgers in Los Angeles. Way to go 0-7, kids.
Have fun with that.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, man.
Remember when I said this like early last year? And I've said this several times. The Braves should have blown this up.
Yeah, like, you did say that at some point.
I've been saying this because it's only going to get harder, right? The more you keep going through this process of trying to get to the top of the mountain, it's only going to become more difficult, strictly because look at what they're dealing with now. Profar is going to be missed like a huge chunk of the season, first half, damn near.
Half, exactly, yeah.
And then you got to deal with Acuna not being 100%.
Well, he's not the same player because I think his body just can't simply perform like that anymore.
But I'm saying that adds to it, right? Acuna is not Acuna as we know him, right? Austin Riley kind of took a step back from the player we thought he was going to be. Same thing with Ozzie Albies, who dealt with wrist injuries and all these injuries he's been dealing with, which is fine. But this is why I thought Alex Anthopoulos, the general manager, was kind of asleep at the switch, because I'm like, this is when you kind of got to zig when everybody's saying to zag. This is when I would have tried and traded Albies. I would have tried and traded, some of the pieces, maybe some of your bullpen pieces. You know what I'm saying? I would have done some, like Chris Sale had a great year last year. I would have tried and traded Chris Sale. He had a great year. Who wants him? He's a lefty. He's available. Who wants him? Because now, I'm going to tell you, 0-4, not many teams that start the season 0-4, 0-5 make the playoffs. Now, the Mets did it last year, so anything is possible, but it ain't looking too good if you're a Brave fan right now. And then, I don't know if you saw these reports. Did you see that Brian Snitker is reportedly thinking about retiring after this year? He doesn't want to manage anymore?
No, I didn't see that yet. Wow. How old is he?
He's in the 70s.
70s, okay.
If do me a favor, just hit the Google on his age real quick. I know he's in his 70s for sure. Got to be at least 71. I would think. Brian Snicker, he got to be in his 70s. Got to be.
He's about to be. He's 69 years
He's
old.
about to be 70. Okay.
Yeah.
So then that makes it even worse. That makes it even all the more like, yo, you got to go right now. Your manager's 70 years old. You got time to play around?
I don't really think the Braves, and if you're a Braves fan watching, I mean, shout out to you. You know, no shade towards you guys, but I don't really think the Braves could make this situation any better. I don't think so. I think what they have is just them at their best now, unfortunately, and they're gonna have to find a way to figure it out. You know,
Like I'm gonna tell you, if Spencer Strider is healthy going into next year, trade chip.
I wonder if they actually, not with Spencer Strider, but at least let's say by the deadline this season. I wonder if the Braves, let's say, pull the trigger on Chris Sale this time, now that he's a year and a half into playing at that level again, rather than holding on to him for a second full season.
Yeah, but
that wouldn't make sense.
Pitching is also tough because you don't know if you're getting the same Chris Sale this year that you got last year.
But that's what I'm saying. If he does that, right, for the first half of the season, if you didn't get rid of him last year, as you mentioned, why not do it this year instead?
Yeah, but he's going to be, to me, he's the hardest person to trade because of his age and because of the years of ineffectiveness he had before this year where he got healthy, right? Like that's where he becomes harder to trade because of his age. The contract, he making like $17 million a year, which isn't terrible, right? So I look at it from this standpoint. If you're the Braves, right, like this division is going to be tough, man. The Nationals ain't going nowhere. They got I like that young national team. You see what the Mets are about to do.
Right. Even the Marlins are having fun. You know, I don't think the Marlins are going to be competing, but they look interesting to start the year.
The one thing about the Marlins is you get into a tight game, they could pitch with anybody in the big leagues. They could pitch with anybody in the big. Now, they ain't going to score enough runs to make you even make it worth it, but they're going to pitch with anybody in the big leagues. And so I'm just like, you know what's crazy? I remember a couple years ago, there was an offer where the Yankees had a deal for Ronald Acuna and Ozzie Albies to go to the Yankees for Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones, and the Yankees and the Braves got to about the 5-yard line and almost pulled the trigger, but didn't do it. I wonder how different the world would be if Ozzie Albies and Ronald Acuna are Yankees right now.
I didn't know that. That's crazy. And I believe it too, because there's always deals that never actually become official. But as you mentioned, they get so close to the point where you start to wonder, what if?
Put it to you this way. When I heard it, I didn't believe it. And then a couple days later, Jeff Passan writes an article for ESPN.com. Yankees and Braves get close to Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies swap for Yankees 2 prospects. And I think at the time, there was a pitcher coming back the Yankees' way too. I don't know. I forgot who the pitcher was, but the Yankees were getting a pitcher in the deal, but they were giving up a lot, but they were getting a lot too. And they didn't consummate the deal. But yeah, no, there's a couple things that, you know, the Braves got close to doing. A couple of years ago, if I remember correctly, they thought they had what's his guy? They thought they had JT Realmuto before he went to Philadelphia.
Oh, really? This was back when he was on the Marlins, right?
Yeah, they thought it was between the Braves and the Mets at the time, and the Braves thought they had the package to get him, but they didn't cross the finish line. So the Braves have been close to a few things that would have changed the trajectory of that team.
Right. Yeah.
Speaking of changing trajectories, Torpedo bets, anybody?
Yeah, of course. We got to get into that because I feel like that's been, if not the hottest topic, one of the hottest topics over the weekend. Before we get into that, though, shout out to all of you who are watching right now. Thanks for the love, as always. Make sure you guys go ahead and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. All three of them are at 27 outs 3C. And for those of
Mhm.
you who are watching live right now, which is the only way via YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And if you are new here, make sure you subscribe as well. But yeah, torpedo bats, man. That was definitely something that I think has been spoken about, for the past few days now. And the interesting part is how it all began with the Yankees, but not really. And I think you know where I'm going when I say that, Stefan, because as some time went by since we heard what's his game? I think his name is Trevor McGill, the pitcher from the Brewers,
The
who said
brother
that
of the brother of Mets pitcher
they're brothers, they're related.
Tyler McGill. Yes,
Okay, I didn't even know that. So in this case, Trevor, who pitches for Milwaukee,
the closer.
he said something that I wasn't really a big fan of, and not because I'm a Yankee fan, but just because I'm a fan who also watches other teams. And in this case, had it been another team that was going through this, and it's really nothing, by the way. So the fact that I'm even saying that they were going through something even doesn't make sense, but because people turned it into something when
Mhm.
it's really nothing,
Right.
that is why I wasn't the biggest fan of what he said, because it's like, dude, not only are you pitching at the major league level, but why is this the first time that you know about this? Rather than being upset with the Yankees, shouldn't you be upset with the Brewers for not having like a players only meeting and letting you guys know, hey, fellas, this is something that certain teams are going to be using this
No,
season.
well,
Don't be surprised if you sue it, if you
for,
see it. But here's the thing I also want to say too. 2025 is also not the first time that teams have been using this. I think Cody Bellinger was a guy who I heard over the past few days say that
yeah,
he saw people using it on the Cubs last season.
right.
So, like, what are we really talking about?
So this is my thing, right? It's like, forget about a team meeting with the Brewers, not to shit on your point, because that's not what I'm trying to do. But how about we call Major League Baseball and ask them, yo, is this legal? Can they do this? If it is, by league rules, your complaint automatically goes out the window. Automatically goes out the window. And you know how crazy you look? Because what if one of your teammates wanted to use this? You're gonna put an aspersion on your teammate? What if the Brewers themselves wanted to use this and you're in the back talking noise? You sound crazy, bro. That's why, to me, everybody commenting, oh, is it legal? Is it legal? Is it legal? Yes, it's legal. The only thing they did, the only modification that they have made is that they put the fatter part of the bat where the label is, and the bottom part of the bat is now thinner, and you're able to get more of the sweet spot of the bat where the ball goes farther. And I'm going to say this for the record, Ivan, I want your thoughts on this as soon as I'm done. You got to give the offense a little bit of a chance. These pitches are throwing nastier, harder. The location is more precise than ever. If a bigger part of the bat is going to help these hitters combat what these pitchers are doing, I'm all for it. You need to give these hitters a chance. It has to be fair play on both sides. If we're gonna say that it's, we like guys watching guys throw 100 and be dominant, well, I like the guy that's gonna hit a ball 400 plus feet and handle his business.
But that's the thing, though. The league has already made that point. Like what you're stating, the league is already allowing that to happen.
Right.
And now we're at a point now where it's up to whoever you're a fan of and that team
Right.
making the decision, or forget the team. It could be individual players. Maybe rather than the
Right.
whole lineup, maybe only 2 or 3 guys want to use it.
So, for example, let's just use the Yankees as the example. They asked Aaron Judge, "Do you want to do this?" Aaron Judge is like, "No, I'm good with my bat." And clearly, 4 home runs later in his first 5 games, he's good with in his first 3 games, he's good with his piece of lumber. He is fine. He doesn't want to be messed with. I'm cool. But, they do this for golfers, right? They get golfers a pair of clubs, and the clubs are modified to the golfer's specifications of how they like the club. Why is it a problem for baseball? And honestly, I think it's dope. because I think it makes the bat look like a sword. Yo, I'm going up there with a sword. I'm about to hit your shit all the way to the moon, and you can't do nothing about it. I think that's dope. And honestly, right? Isn't the game about entertainment? Don't we want to entertain folks? The runs per game have been down for the last 3 years consecutively. I think last year's runs per game was like at 4.6 or something like that. Barely, not even 5 runs a game. You know, there's been I think 6 teams that have scored 9 runs or more in their first 3 games of this regular season so far. Not including the Yankees, who hung 36 on the Brewers like they were playing football this weekend.
Right.
The Blue Jays also hung. The Orioles also scored 18 runs in 2 games against the Blue Jays this weekend, and they were at it again because they scored another 8 runs today against the Red Sox. So it's like the offense needs to be given a shot. The offense needs to be given a shot, and we need to be able to have it be fair for both parties. And I'm going to tell you, man, if I was a hitter and they gave me one of those bats, I'm walking up to the plate feeling myself.
Right.
And just because we got snow in here, I gotta do this for snow. His Chicago White Sox are scoring runs. His Chicago White Sox are scoring runs.
By the way, they scored a lot of runs against the Twins. They did their thing.
Yo, they were up 9-0 in the 3rd inning. Listen, somebody want to tell the Twins the season, yo, fam, season started. You guys are looking like hot dog shit. Why, Ellie homered again?
It's funny you say that, Shrek, because right before we started tonight's show, I was telling Stefan, and he said it to me as well, that Ellie just homered. We're using a torpedo bat, actually.
Listen, I'm good. Torpedo me in.
You know what? So for me, I think it's 2 things. And not that this is a fact, but I strongly believe that these 2 things are a fact. I think it's one, it's teams being not teams, but fans of baseball, right? Everyone involved with the game who consumes it, you know? I think everyone is so accustomed to the traditional look of a bat. Hence, Aaron Judge, a player, still sticking to the traditional bat. Like I get it, right? It's gonna take some time for it to grow for the people who are pissed off, who still can't believe it right now as we speak. But at the same time, you know, I kind of blame Major League Baseball in a way. I know it's just getting started and it's not really a norm just yet, but I think Major League Baseball should have done something knowing that they were going to allow certain teams to start doing this.
Right.
Put something out, you know, maybe during spring training, perhaps maybe in the off season, just to gear not just teams, but fans in general. Hey, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be swinging with something that looks a little funky. Just know that it's perfectly fine.
So what I would have done was I would have made a statement if I was Major League Baseball, and I would have said, yo, listen.
And they did, but they did it after the fact.
No. I'm talking about before the season started. Yeah. Listen, these bats were modified for these players' specific specifications. If you see something that looks a little weird, this is why. This is, again, I don't mean to sound like the dude that's yelling, get off my lawn, but I'm going to be the dude that's why baseball is behind the times. This is as easy as a press release. Yo, dog, all right, this is what we're going to do. This is what the bat's going to look like. Send us through a tutorial. Like, have somebody from the players union explain, yo, this is why we're using these bats. And also,
you know what would have been the perfect example, though, now that we're on this topic, Stefan?
Go ahead.
You know what really just, I should say, shits on everything that's being talked about right now?
Yep.
What would have been great at the start of the year was, how about putting a video up of how the bats are made?
Talk about it.
A deep dive, going to the factory, you know, listen, what's this thing that you guys come up with for us to finally see the final product, which is a player using the bat in game?
This is my point, right?
The best way to go about it.
But Major League Baseball, this is why I'm saying this is behind the times, because you could have got with at least 3 different bat manufacturers. You could have got, let's just say 3. Louisville Slugger. You could have got with I know there's a bunch of different bat models out there, but you could have got with a bunch of different models and you could have said, listen, we need a video of a player in the factory with you when you want to make a torpedo bat. This is what it goes into it. This is how we're gonna do it. This is how the wood is being used. All this is going to be ironed out. And also, the guy that came up with it, who ended up working for the Yankees, who left the job as an IT at MIT.
He works with the Marlins now, actually.
Yeah, I believe he's the field coordinator for the Marlins, I believe. So it's like you could have easily got him on an interview and explained, yo, what was the logic when you thought about this torpedo bat idea? Exactly. What made you wanted to do this? What was it like consulting with bat companies and Major League Baseball?
Right. Who were some of the players that may have already come to you to create this?
So, for example, Anthony Volpe was one of the players. Jazz Chisholm was another guy. There was a few guys that came to him and said, "Yo,
I got one, and it's for the Met fans. Your boy Frankie, Mr. Francisco Lindor,
right?
He was caught using one of those, and I don't want to say caught, but there's a picture of him using a torpedo bat, and I had to say Francisco Lindor because of you know the beef that's been going on for years between Mets fans, Yankee fans. Mets always think that the Yankees are trying to have the upper hand and this and that. Listen, there's none of that because your own boy has used one as well.
And also, guess what? What's wrong with the play? What's wrong with an offensive player trying to gain a competitive advantage when the pitchers have been dominating the sport for the last 4 or 5 years? And again, I'm going to point this out. You know why Major League Baseball needs this? Can I bring it to a deeper level here? What do we all know is coming in 2 years?
Right, the lockout.
So you need something. Yo, dude, all right, let's give them these torpedo bats. Let's get offense up. Let's get them to forget what we're about to go through because this is going to be a long, dark, hard period for the sport. It's going to be difficult. And what's the saying? Yo, chicks, dig the long ball. If this helps raise the profile, then what are we doing wrong?
What's even more great about this too? Let's just look at how we started the show tonight. We talked about somebody who just got suspended for 80 games doing something that was actually illegal.
Definitely,
we're talking about something that is perfectly okay, legal to do. So why not do that instead of what Jerickson Profar did? Because I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you're right. But you know what the reality is? People want to say, "Oh, but you see them, they're cheating. It's not right." Bah, bah, bah. Everybody wants to be the conspiracy theorist. See,
everybody wants to be the first person to expose. Everybody wants to be the first person to say, "Oh,
well, gotcha. Look, you're doing something wrong. Gotcha." Instead of saying, "Yo, this shit is dope," and embracing the fact that this could help your team be better. If I'm the Milwaukee Brewers, I'm walking up to the Yankees right now like, yo, where do I order these from? I'd have had them shit shipped overnight to Yankee Stadium. Yo, I need about 12 dozen of them motherfuckers shipped to the stadium today.
I mean, honestly, though, with the way Milwaukee has played against the Yankees and then earlier today against the Royals, I don't think torpedo bats are going to help them, bro. They are in trouble.
Yeah.
Because, listen, I saw that series, and I'm like, okay, I'll give the Brewers not a complete pass, but somewhat of a pass because it's the Yankees. Mm-hmm. Then earlier today, I'm watching the game between them and the Royals, and shout out to you, Shrek. And I was like, no, this is actually a Milwaukee Brewers problem. They're that bad.
That's funny. That's funny, but Snow, that's funny. That's funny, bro.
No, you know what they rather do, Snow? They rather come up with some type of conspiracy and say that the league is going to allow it because it's the Yankees.
Right, yeah.
Go to hell, please.
And Emilio with a great point here. This is 32 different bat makers. I did not know that. I know they use a lot.
Imagine being able to having to come up with all those names.
Yeah, that's crazy. You know what I would love to do one day as the show gets bigger? I want to go to like 4 or 5 different bat manufacturers and see them make a bat. Like, see them make it.
I mean, it could happen, bro. Let's speak it into existence, you know?
I want to, because I get excited to see the process of how things are made. Yo, this is a new invention in baseball. All right, cool. Let me see how this works, why you're doing it, what's the science behind it. And also because the Yankees said they studied the analytics, they went back, they look at the numbers, and they realized, yo, a lot of guys are hitting the ball on the label instead of hitting the ball with on the fat part of the bat. And they realized, okay, this is something that we can modify. And I'm pretty sure before they did any of this, they called Major League Baseball, was like, yo, is this legal? Can we do this? And Major League Baseball was like, yeah, you can do it. And that's why they went about doing it. And like you said, this was happening towards the end of last year, too.
You know what I'm going to hate? And this is not because I think the Yankees are going to win the World Series.
No.
But let's just say, in a perfect world, let's say the Yankees do end up winning the 2025 World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the amount of hate that's going to come from the fans and them saying, oh, it took them this long. Look what they finally needed to win it all. They needed the torpedo bat. You know it, bro. That's how the world is today.
So then I'm gonna be the one, but look at your team. Look at what they took to win it. A lot of them were getting suspended for PED use, but nobody sits there and says nothing about that, right? Come on now, man. Come on. Jarrison Profile is gonna be able to play in 3 months. You know what I'm saying? But that's all good though. Come on.
True. That needs to be where the focus is really at.
This is where Major League Baseball needs to come out and take the heat off the Yankees. Yo, it was our fault for not properly explaining what this change would have done to the game.
Right.
Because remember, we were talking about juice baseballs and they might bring them, but maybe this is the answer to the juice baseball. Maybe it's like, yo, you know what? Let's raise the offensive profile.
Now that you say that, shout out to Rick. He's not here right now. Whenever you get in here, bro, or even if you don't catch it live and you watch after the fact,
shout out to you.
I remember a few shows ago, we were having a conversation about what could be the thing to possibly get baseball back to the ratings that it once had, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he had said, like, yo, they're gonna figure something out, right? Like he mentioned possibly bringing back the juice bats and this and that, but I think his point was the fact that it's going to be something. And I think I might be speaking a little too early. So I want to make that very clear.
Right.
But we could be at the starting point of what fans are going to start to enjoy.
That's a very good point. And especially because you have to give the fans something. The fans right now, the fans are already looking at you with the side eye. So if this is going to raise the offensive profile of the collective sport, we're able to talk about how, the torpedo bats made the offense a little bit more palatable. And you're not striking out 12 dudes a game. And it's not just looking like, what the hell? And you're able to get it fair for both sides. That's what this is about. Because at the end of the day, this is competition. So if you're not looking for an edge, then you shouldn't be competing, right? Like at the end of the day, if you're competing, you're looking for an edge to try and get your team better, make your situation a little bit better. And also, listen, the high-profile teams are going to use this. The Dodgers, I'm sure, are going to look into it. Other teams, I'm sure, are going to look into it. And it's like, I hate the idea that one side is getting blamed when Marv Manfred should make a blanket statement to all of Major League Baseball, everybody included, the teams, the owners, the general managers, everybody on the field. These are legal. We've okayed this. This is what it's going to, and these are parameters for which we've okayed it. And I don't think it's necessarily fair to blame the Yankees and, credit Michael Kay for going on the broadcast and saying, yo, the Yankees did something with the analytics that they found an advantage and they made it work and it's worked for them. So shout out to them. When you hang 36 runs on a team in a weekend series, something's clearly working.
Right. What I don't really like is too, and we just spoke about it a few minutes ago, is the fact that it's great that you and I were able to, share our thoughts on it, Stefan, and the fact that you and I are just two content creators who create baseball content, right?
Yep.
Why is it so easy for people like us to be able to come up with a better rollout to introduce the Torpedo bat to the entire league and its fans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why so quickly are we so good at doing that? Meanwhile, the league itself has millions and billions of dollars, and they couldn't quickly hire some type of film crew to do the thing that we just talked about on tonight's show. Like, come on, dude. It's not that hard, dude.
So you're asking a rhetorical question, or you want to answer?
No, you could respond however you want. I just had to put that out there.
No. It's a great question, but that's what I'm saying. Was it a rhetorical question, or you want me to try and answer this question? Because I have one very simple answer.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit because they got your money, right? And also the reason why I think they don't come out and explain this, because look at how much headlines it's brought them over the last 2 days. Yo, why are we gonna come out and explain it when we could just have the talking heads just come around here and talk about it and create ratings and have everybody talking about it, MLB Network and all the different games and the broadcast, and it could be a thing. So why do we have to explain it? Right? Why can't we just?
Maybe that was their plan, since you're saying
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Wow, man, that is crazy. I think it's safe to say that this is going to be the thing where we start to see an uptick in runs scored.
For sure. And there's not
TD, what's going on? Welcome.
What's good, bro? There's nothing wrong with that. I really want a uptick in runs. Guys, speaking of uptick, challenge tonight. Let's try to get, there's 7 of you in the chat right now. Listen, send a quick text message if you're watching us on TV. Tell your friends we're live. I would like to get to 190 subscribers by the time we leave the air tonight. That's a nice round number for us. And I'd like to see the number go from 7 to about 12 of us in here. So can we make that happen? Because if we can make that happen, that'd be really dope.
You know how you can make that happen? Follow us on social media all over the damn place. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter.
All that.
And ultimately, to really be able to do the thing that Stefan just shared with us is you got to be watching via the YouTube right now, right? So if you're new here, welcome aboard. We talk baseball every damn week. I'm Ivan, that's Stefan.
Yeah.
This is 27 Outs Live. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so.
Salute, man. Salute. We'd like to definitely, because here's the thing. The bigger audience, when we get a bigger audience, right? We got some things coming for, later this season, early next season. You know what I mean? That we're going to roll out slowly for you guys. So the more traction we get on the channel, the more your boys know, yo, we in here. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about for us. And we want other baseball fans to come in here, whether you're a Red Sox fan, Oriole fan, Blue Jay fan, whatever you are, come in and join the conversation. So, that's funny.
Yo, TD, now that you're here, so far, we just finished talking about the Torpedo bat. We spoke about Jerson Profar. How about we get into one of his own, right? You shared something with me that was very, very interesting, Stefan. And I'm starting to think that, it's not something that has to do with the mechanics. It could be something mentally, rather. How do you feel on Rafael Devers and the start that he has gotten off to?
So, TD, I just want to have you as a reference point on this, because it doesn't feel like he's lost at the plate. I've watched a lot of Red Sox games over the last couple of days. I watched the 2 games in Texas over the weekend, and just trying to get a feel to, I watched the Saturday game and then parts of the Sunday game too. Jacob deGrom looked like Jacob deGrom on Sunday.
He looked good.
If this is what the American League has to look forward to, Jesus Christ. I will tell you, he looks like he's just late to the heater, bro. He's not swinging at bad pitches. Everything is in the strike zone. He doesn't look like he's fishing for pitches. He seems like he's right there. He's just a tad late. And I wonder if the shoulders are fully healed from what he was dealing with late last season, going into the offseason, this offseason. I wonder if he's fully healed, and what does it look like? How long is it going to take him to snap out of this? Because the reality of it is this. Until he figures out how to get around on that fastball, specifically with some gas, they're gonna be just blowing fastballs right by him, man. Now he drew a couple walks the last few games, which is important just to get his confidence up, and he's not. But 0 for 19 with 15 Ks.
That's the real issue for me. So it's not so much that he's on this 0-4 right now as we speak. It's the fact that it's all leading to strikeouts.
Yeah, and
almost every single time he's been up to the plate, it's a strikeout. Dude, what is wrong?
So
dudes get off to rough starts all the time. There's been players over the years who were notorious for getting off to slow starts.
Well,
but we're talking about more than just a slow start.
Well, I have a problem with this comment here. If you're mad at Alex Cora, then you should go do your job and play better. It's not Alex Cora that benched you; it's your own personal skill set that benched you.
You know what? Speaking of that, thank you for mentioning that, CD, and thank you as well, Stefan, for saying what you just said. I saw a couple of players try to come to his defense. I know a former player, Matt Kemp, was one. He put something out, and he said something along the lines of, "Oh, well, one way to make sure that you're always engaged with the game is playing on the field, right?" Which is what Rafael Devers is not doing for the Red Sox anymore. He's simply a DH. And he tried to say that one of the main reasons why Devers is probably off to the start that he has gotten off to is because he's no longer a third baseman. I mean, really?
No, well, if I could defend him for half a second.
It makes sense, but are we really going to do that now, though?
I'm going to tell you why we're going to do it, especially early on.
Because I think it could be that, but I also think it's more.
Yeah,
and the more is what we don't really know about.
Right. And I think part of it is I don't think he's all the way healthy. That's just my general assumption.
Right.
TD says in the comments that it's not the shoulder, it's just that he's overweight and he's mad at Cora, which is a bigger problem because it shows lack of dedication and that you have a messed up attitude. The shoulders, I'm at least trying to give you an out where it could be a physical problem. If it's just you being an all-around douchebag, then we got to figure that out. Amongst the team, amongst yourself, amongst whatever it is you got going on, that has to be figured out amongst you. Because if you're going to be a complete and tank the fucking season, you're a dickhead. And that needs to be pointed out. And honestly, that's not a good look for you because your job, whether it's third base, DH, sitting on your ass, standing up straight, whatever you're doing, when you put on the Red Sox uniform, you have to be professional. Right? And the one thing that I admired about how Alex Cora has handled this whole thing, he's been behind him. Listen, Rafi's going to get out of it. We believe in him. We believe in what he's capable of doing, right? Like, Alex Cora is going to say all the right things because Alex Cora is just that type of stand-up dude. But I would not be surprised if behind the scenes Alex Cora was like, you see all that shit this dude was talking at the start of spring training? Now look, motherfucker, you can't even touch the ball if it was right in your face.
Right.
Now look, because you want to talk all that shit about, oh, I'm a third baseman. I'm a bird. I was promised third. You can't even fucking hit the ball. Mm-hmm. A walk is your most credible achievement right now.
Right. You know, not only is this really bad for Rafael Devers, but I also feel bad for the Red Sox, right?
I also
feel bad for people like TD and any other Red Sox fan as well, because this was a year where there was excitement. You know, there's a lot of things to look forward to when it comes to the organization and what the team is not only going to look like here in 2025 and beyond. And I thought, you know, in my mind that Rafael Devers was going to play an important role in allowing that to even happen for the Red Sox.
Agreed.
But with the start that he has gotten off to, I mean, it's still early. So I don't want to sit here and act like he can't suddenly just start tearing the cover off the ball because Devers is that type of guy.
No, he can't. It takes one swing to get him right.
But, you know, it's a little worrisome. It's not a good look at all.
Also, I just don't like the fact that, like, I don't like the fact that we also jump to conclusions of how bad the start has been. Because what if he gets red hot in the next 2 to 3 weeks? All this stuff about an early bad start is forgotten. Mm-hmm. Let's just try and relax. Let's let him ease in because this is a new role for him, right? Like, this is a new role for him, and the idea that um he has to now learn basically a new way of playing the game. Because you're on the bench. Now you got to go warm up between innings, try to keep your swing loose. You're not on the field. You're not in the flow of the game. Now it's a different game. But you know who's the perfect person he can call? You got King DH, who's beloved in Boston.
Oh, David Ortiz?
Call Poppy and be like, yo, how'd you do this? What we got to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would be like, yo, all right, can we get Poppy to Boston for like a weekend so I can pick his brain and figure out what the fuck is going on here? How do we do this? What do I do between innings? How do I set myself up? How many hacks do I take between innings? Do I even swing? Do I not?
That's a great point. And I think that's an even greater example to be able to have the opportunity to work alongside a guy like that. Right. I mean, who else would you want to work with, right? When we're talking about DH.
So, and also, too, you got Jason Varitek on the bench. You got two guys that are like Red Sox legends. Call them both. Yo, what do I got to do?
Right. Yo, Poppy, how'd you do this for so long?
Help.
How'd you master it, actually? Because David Ortiz definitely mastered the DH
he
position.
Literally, that was his thing. And you know what the other thing is? It's like, Poppy's willing to help him, not
and they're also both Dominican too.
That's what I was just about to say. If you don't think he wants to see him succeed, because it's like, yo, I passed
like one of his own almost.
Yeah, I passed the torch to you, man. Go kill it out here. And that's why I think Poppy is not against helping him. I just believe that this is what I also believe too. These organizations are so analytical that it's like, if Big Poppy comes in and tells him something, let's get Devers a torpedo bat, says Yorlin. What's up, Yorlin? That's funny. But I wonder if the Red Sox would not even allow this to be a thing, simply because you know what the analytics say. If the analytics say that, you know, Poppy's going to teach him something that's against what they're trying to teach you analytically, how much is that going to clash? Like, Does Craig Breslow want Poppy around Devers? Because what he might be teaching Devers is completely against what the Red Sox are trying to.
At the same time, though, look at it like this, because it could be that. But I also even want to throw this in additionally is you can't actually calculate the fire that David Ortiz could possibly light in Rafael Devers. Devers might go to Ortiz if this is something that he might actually consider at some point, right? Yep. And it wouldn't surprise me if it does. I could see it happening some point next offseason or something like that. But just being Rafael Devers, knowing that you have this guy in your back pocket, you have him on speed dial in your phone if need be.
Of course.
It's like, I'm sure that has to bring something to you as well. Like, holy cow, like, I have this guy to be my mentor now.
You know what's crazy? And I have this idea, right? And I don't know, Red Sox fans that are in here, help me out. What if the Red Sox would have put him on the IL? And say to him, yo, I'm going to put you on the IL for about 15 to 20 days. Go try to lose about 10, 15 pounds and come back in better shape. Where maybe he is carrying too much weight. Maybe his bat speed is a little slow because he is carrying a lot of weight, especially in his upper body, his torso, his shoulders are not able to get around the baseball. Listen, it's early enough where if you were to IL him, just to try for maintenance, you could say, listen, his shoulders are still not 100%. What I would do is I'd be like, yo, conditioning workouts before the game. Get on the treadmill, do a little running, hit the cage a little bit. You know what I mean? Just try and get yourself in better physical condition. Because, listen, when I found out he was in camp at 240, I was like, that's a little alarming. Because what the hell were you doing for the entire offseason other than stuffing Dominican food down your gullet, which is fine. Ain't nothing wrong with Dominican food.
He was too worried about losing his job at third base. That's the problem.
So I think I think if you want to ask me what makes sense for me, I think I would IL him, as Snow points out and TD points out.
Send him on a nice little vacation with David Ortiz for a week or two. Go to DR, man.
What I would say, no, I don't even want him. I want Poppy to come here.
Oh, okay, okay.
I want Poppy to come here, and I want Poppy to sit with him and like, yo, all right, this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna relearn how to hit in terms of when you get up to swing, when you sit down from swinging, when you know what I'm saying. So,
You know,
um,
too, the reason why I made that comment about sending Devers to DR is because I don't know if you ever heard about this, Stefan, but there's a lot of kids, Dominican kids in particular, who are from the States here in the US,
mhm.
and their parents would actually send them to the Dominican Republic for the summer to work on conditioning, to work on becoming better baseball players, you know? And not that Rafael Devers is one of those guys, but that's one of those things. If you know, you know. I know my Dominicans know for sure.
For sure, for sure. You're on with an interesting take here. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it, because then it makes you look bad.
He could be bothered by something. We could say that, maybe.
No, but he says, "Do you think Devers is doing this on purpose to be petty for what they did?"
Right. And then mentioned somebody also too said something about how he's upset with like Alex Cora. I think TD said
TD
that, right?
mentioned that. But here's the problem. If you're that damn upset, why listen, the checks are being cashed every 2 weeks, bro. The checks are being cashed. The pettiness stops once we signed you to that major extension. Nobody's going to trade for you because the contract is too onerous to trade. Like, nobody's going to trade for you. You're already 240 now and you're barely 30 years old. Imagine when you get to 35, 36, you might blow up to 260, 270. I'm good.
He might end up looking like Mo Vaughn or something.
Devers is too much of a. I mean, you would hope so, Snow. Like, you would hope that that's a thing.
But you never know.
But with these guys, the way it is now, listen, and like we said on the last show, these guys are making so much money. I don't think it even matters to them. Because so if I got a torpedo my way, that's pardon the pun, but if I got to tank my way out of a situation, I'm gonna do it. Because I'm already on a guaranteed contract. The problem is I don't think nobody takes the contract because he's making so much money. Right? Well, then if he's petty, then you know what? Then he needs to be petty on the IL and not come back until he get his shit together. Because I ain't got time to be petty.
Oh, forget about that guy, Snow.
Oh. There's a better chance of me walking to the box with my four wheels on with the speed on tilt hitting the ball than Rendon even contributing to the Angels this season.
We have talked about that in previous shows on
Nah, I don't think you can. I don't think you can. I don't think he can, and I don't think the Red Sox are gonna grant him the request.
Right, not yet.
Why would I?
Not when they're trying to get things rolling again.
Hell no. Just drawing a compare. Nah, guys, this became.
I feel you, Titty. I like how you ended off that comment there because that's where I stand.
I'm right there with you.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, all they got to take is probably listen, and you know what these players, man. If you don't think he's in the clubhouse, if you don't think he's under the cages hitting with the biomechanic machine, where's the swing at? If you don't think he's taking like 500 swings a day, you're out of your mind. He's probably trying to swing on the airport, on the plane right now. There's just not enough room. But he listen, these guys are competitors, bro. I don't think he would either. Listen, some guys are just meant to be Red Sox. He's meant to be a Red Sox. It's just I can't see him playing anywhere else.
Right.
This is not the NBA. They're not gonna. The guys ain't just gonna force a trade just for the sake of forcing the trade. Doogie. I don't know. Speaking of going around the game, like I said, Byron Buxton, you want to hear? Tell me what stopped me when you heard this before. Left the game today.
He's hurt?
Yeah, crashed into the wall. Left the game today.
Come on, Buxton. I mean, out of all people, bro, you know better. You can't be doing that. Your time to do that has expired.
Nah, your body can't handle that, my boy. What are you doing?
Yo, Yorlin, I know you just got here, bro, and thank you for stopping by. But we
Salute.
just finished talking about the torpedo bats. You know, it's a thing that other teams just have to, make a decision for themselves on whether they want to start using them or
Using it
not.
or not,
And
yeah.
ultimately, it's up to the players, right? Like, this is something that is only going to benefit the players more
For
than
sure.
anybody else. And I think
For
other
sure.
teams need to catch up, if you ask me. That's all it is.
For sure. For sure.
Same
Listen,
thing with the Dodgers and the way a lot of people feel about the deferrals. It's something that all teams can do.
listen, sports is a copycat industry. So if this works for the Yankees and all the other teams that are using it, these teams will be right there trying to do the same thing. Speaking of trying to do the same thing, copycat league and all that, listen, I gotta tell you right now, boy, am I having fun watching the Baltimore Orioles hit the baseball right now.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, am I having fun watching these boys hit right now. And the reason why I'm gonna spotlight the Baltimore Orioles, now they can't pitch worth a damn. They're gonna give up maybe 4 or 5 runs a game. But boy, are they gonna hit. And I'm gonna highlight one guy in particular right now, and I think this is very important. If Adley Rushman can be the Adley Rushman that we believe he's capable of being, oh boy, oh boy.
That's one thing I didn't really doubt when it came to Baltimore. Like, outside of the pitching,
They are
I
gonna
thought their
hit.
lineup is gonna be pretty elite, up there with some of the best in the game for sure.
They're gonna hit. Cincinnati, I believe, is gonna hit. Cincinnati's gonna hit. That ballpark, that lineup, they're gonna hit. Bradley Singler was on the mound for them today, and he looked sharp from what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, it's the matter of can these teams pitch, but the Orioles, they're gonna hit. They're gonna hit.
That's true. That's true, Yorlin. That's exactly what we said. That wasn't the only thing that we said, but we did state that, because it's the Yankees, because people just are looking to be the person to say, aha, I got you, that's where a lot of it comes from.
Yeah, this is funny. Orioles, I don't know. See, this is interesting because I hadn't heard any of this, but
really? Wow. Well, I hope he doesn't do it.
Listen, with the way
the Red Sox could pull that off, boy.
And honestly, if I'm him, how old is Christian Campbell?
Let's see.
21, 22 years old?
He's 22 years old.
Wait that shit out, my boy.
Yeah, dude.
What?
Like, yo, that $100 million contract, if you agree to it, right?
Nah.
You are missing out on being able to quadruple that, maybe even more.
That's like Ronald Acuna money. Hell no.
Yeah, nah, man. Thank you for sharing that, by the way, TD, because I didn't know about that.
If his agent allows him to sign a contract that is that low, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it is a lot of money, but the bad part is
compared to what he could
possibly make. Yeah. Like this is just nothing but projections, right? Not only for himself and the talent that he could be, but what he could do in terms of making a great living, I would say, out of it.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, I know it's easy for us to say, it's better to take the hand in the bush than the bush in the hand, and that, you know what I mean? Like, it's better to know what you have, and that's a lot of money. $90 million is a lot of money, but when you talking about a guy with bat speed like he got, that can make somewhere in the range anywhere between 250 and 300 million potentially, I'm foregoing that 90 million.
If he's got some great people in his life, which I hope he does, and I'm sure he does, right? There's got to be a couple of people already in his ear telling him, like, yo, listen, say no. Deny.
Mm-hmm.
Say no, thank you. Actually, make sure you say thank you, but put a no before that.
Here's the thing, yo. I look at Bobby Witt's contract now with the Royals. That contract's a bargain. What he signed for? 11 years, 288.
Bro.
He didn't even get 300 million. I don't even think he got 300 million. That's crazy, bro.
Let's see. He got damn, why can't I see it here?
I think he got 11 for 288.
Yeah, you're right. 11
Mhm.
at yep. Mm-hmm.
That feels like a steal because if
Hell yeah, bro. With what some other guys are getting, dude, it should have been 11 at like
400,
688, 588.
yeah, at least 400. Get me in the 400 range at
Really
least.
look at it, right? Like Vladdy is looking for what? 5+6 if he could really get
Close
something,
to
you know.
600, man. Close to 600 for
Bobby
like
Witt
12.
Jr. is a better baseball player to me than Vladdy
If
is.
you giving Vladdy 500, man, you got to
That's
give
why I said 688.
Nah, if Vladdy's getting 5, you got to give Bobby Witt like 720.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somewhere like 750.
Yeah.
Because that's crazy. Even the 550 for Vladdy is nuts. 550 for a first baseman?
It's a lot of money,
That's
man.
nuts. Because if you giving him 550, what's Gunnar Henderson worth in a couple years? Like 800 million?
Mm-hmm.
What's Adley worth? 850. What's Ellie worth in Cincinnati in a few years? $1 billion? Like, damn,
Exactly.
bro. Craziness. And speaking of Ellie De La Cruz, hit 2 missiles as we saw. The games got a bunch of young talent, man. Like watching Bobby Witt this weekend. The Guardians went in there and I think they took 3 out of 4, if I'm not mistaken, correct? From the Royals this weekend?
Speaking of that, how'd you feel, Stefan? And I also want to ask all of you who are watching right now. Before I get into that, one last time, make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, all 3 at 27nows3c. And of course, if you're watching via YouTube right now, make sure you hit that thumbs up button one time for us and subscribe. How'd you feel about Emmanuel Clase and Shrek? Shrek, I hope you're here. I want you to share your thoughts on this as well. How'd you feel about Emmanuel Clase going up more than once against, I believe it was Jonathan India? Did you feel it was on purpose or?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Because, first of all, we'll answer this question in a sec. But the answer in short form is yes. He does get traded, I believe. I believe it was intentional, yes. And the next time that the Guardians see the Royals, I'm hitting J Ram in like his ribcage.
Right. Yo, you're bad, bro, but I don't blame you.
Nah, you want to hit one of your boys is wearing it.
I also think that
whether it's Manzardo, somebody's gonna wear it because you hit him. You tried twice for the ear flat, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, he was in the lineup today and he was okay. Thank God.
I will tell you though, I saw a lot of comments and a lot of people were saying like, "Yo, I don't think it was done on purpose. It's early in the year. He's still trying to find himself."
Fuck that.
Had it been any other pitcher, then I would say, okay, I would agree with that. But we're talking about, if not the best, one of the best closers in the game.
Come on now. With precision control, who throws nothing but splitters, and you're gonna throw 2 straight heaters at his ear flap? Fuck out of here, bro. Right. Oh, you can't determine intent. Clearly, you came back-to-back pitches in the same exact spot. There was intent there, bro.
That's what gives it away for me, bro. Like, it wasn't over like the duration of a full at bat.
And you know why?
2 pitches that were thrown back-to-back.
You know why? Because Clase blew the first slave of the season against the Royals, and I think Jonathan, he got a hit off from him to start the inning or something like that. So,
but I mean, come on now. We're going to start doing that as pitchers? In Major League Baseball, just rocking dudes in the face. Yo, I blew the game against y'all. Here I am tonight again.
That's why I'm telling you.
Your face.
That's why I'm telling you, yo, it's fair game because I'm gonna tell you this right now.
Yo, that's funny. He said I control the ball and your ass.
So, all right, you control the ball in my ass. So if it's me, the next time I see one of the Guardians, not to be rude, but you trying to end my man's season, J-Ram, I'm ending yours.
Trying to break his ribs?
You're done. You're not playing again. Mm-hmm. Let a close play be at third. I'm sliding right into one of your knees. It's done. You want to be dirty? We could be dirty too. And I'm not advocating for it, But credit Vinny Pasquantino, who said, "Listen, I don't think he did it on purpose. I just think it's
He's just being nice.
he's being diplomatic."
Mm-hmm.
But I swear to you, if I was on that team, yo, one of them gotta wear it. Whether it's J Ram, whether it's Manzardo, whether it's Stephen Kwan, somebody gotta get rocked.
I'm going to go ahead and take a very early guess and say that we have not seen the end of this. Now, I could be wrong, but if, players start to actually get a feel for what it truly was, I
Yeah,
mean, these teams are going to meet up with each other plenty more times.
yeah. So
So this might not be the end.
listen, man. You know what? TD? I'm here for it, bro. I'm here for it. I don't give a
As
fuck.
for
Cause
or in this case, face for face? Because that's where he got hit, bro.
And the crazy thing is, what if God forbid, knock on all types of wood, he ends this kid's career? What do we say then? What do we say then? And listen,
or God forbid you rearrange his face.
yes, this is why I'm going to say this for the record. The baseball season needs to be shortened. These guys should not be out here with this much velocity in the cold where they can't feel the ball. It's too early in the year. Why are we playing games in March and April? I'll never understand it. Cut the season down to anywhere between 180 games. The Players Union will never do it. Baseball itself will never do it. The television partners will never do it. For all that being stipulated, they'll never do it. But to avoid injuries like this, because it's freezing, I'm not doing that, man.
Or how about they maybe don't even want to do this either, but how about you go from 162 down to 142, where you knock off not having to play in March at all,
right?
And you really don't start playing till mid-April, the ending of April,
right?
That wouldn't be all that bad either. Well, I know in certain parts, especially here in the U.S., you got certain states where it still is kind of cold in March and April. It doesn't really get warm until May, I would say, especially if you're in the Northeast area, like New York, PA, places like that, Boston.
Yeah,
it doesn't really get fairly warm until May, June, bro.
By the end of May, you start warming up because even the beginning of May, you hold up, it's raining again.
Right.
I can break out here, yo.
Right now, I go out some days. One day is 65, 70 degrees. The next day is 35, 40. What the hell?
You can't hypothermia.
That's a big difference. We're talking about a 20 to 30.
Whoa. We got news, ladies and gentlemen. Garrett Crochet and the Boston Red Sox are in agreement on a $170 million contract extension. The deal is from 2026 to 2031. That is breaking news. Ivan, do you want to hit the sound effect?
Yeah. Yo, that's crazy.
Let's react to this. This is live.
Mm-hmm. And then one of these as well, because Stefan, I mean, you didn't, you couldn't have started that off any other way, other than the way you started it by saying breaking news. So we got to hit one of these as well.
So, all right, the actual deal is 6 years, $170 million contract extension. The deal starts in 2026 and includes an opt-out after 2030. But wow.
I was just about to ask TD, who's here with us tonight. And thank you for being here again, TD, man, because it's great that we're able to talk about this live with a Red Sox fan. But you already answered that question. He says, hell yeah, I love it.
According to one of my sources that is in Boston right now, that helped them get the deal to the finish line. The deal was actually closed earlier today, but they waited to announce it. But Garrett Crochet is going to be a Red Sox for the foreseeable future.
Not bad. You said 7 years at 170?
6 at 170.
6 at 170. Okay.
And the deal begins next season.
I like that, man. I mean, we knew that this was going to happen, but it's good that it happened while we were live, actually. Because we often come here with things, haven't already been shared? Nobody really knows about it.
There are no options as far as I know, but I can reach out to somebody. Um, reach out to somebody. By the way, this is the largest contract extension given to a pitcher in Red Sox history. Because
Wow. Okay.
I believe Chris Sale's deal was 5 at 145. This is 6 at 170. So he beats out Chris Sale's deal by a good amount of money. So
That's what's up. I like that deal, not only for the Red Sox, but also for Crochet, right? I know at the time it kind of sounded crazy when he was basically demanding an extension when it came to whoever was going to trade for him. But he got exactly what he was looking for, and the Red Sox now have their guy for the future.
all right, and we also got some breaking news on Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman had a mishap entering the shower today and tweaked the same surgically and the same ankle he had surgery on last season. He is not available tonight. He is day to day.
Damn, Freeman.
The Red Sox, the Dodgers begin a series tonight with the Braves at home in Los Angeles.
I wonder now that he aggravated it, I wonder if the ankle is going to be something that bothers him for the remainder of the season.
I would hope not. I would hope not. But if you're hurting and just trying to get in the shower, that's not good.
Right.
That's not good. But
The good thing though is the Dodgers are in a position where they could allow Freddie Freeman to rest the ankle, to not have to
nah,
play
he
in a
don't
really
have to
big.
worry about it. But I will tell you, no, Snow, there is no options on this deal. And credit the Red Sox. They got this done fairly expediently, fairly quickly. They didn't waste no time. I was kind of concerned that they didn't do it at spring training. Do me a favor. What is 6 at 170? What is that per year?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to do the math on this real quick, just because it's in
28.
28 million a year. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted anywhere between 25 and 30. So they got him to the sweet spot. They got him right in, a little bit more than 25, but a little less than 30. That's not bad.
I like it, bro. I like it for both sides.
I wonder how the contract shakes out year to year, because you know how sometimes they front load, back load the contract. I wonder what it looks like. And also, I kind of like that the contract starts next season, right? Where you can still have options, you can still do some stuff. So wow, this is a good get for the Red Sox. And also, I think he just set the market for a Sandy Alcantara. If he's when he's traded, if he does sign an extension somewhere, I think he's kind of I think he just set the market, because I believe Sandy's going to get paid, sometime soon too. Even though he's under
Well, I
contract.
think Sandy has to bounce back first.
Right? No, no, no.
Whereas
But I'm saying,
Garrett Crochet, he wasn't necessarily in a position that
right?
Sandy is in right now. But a lot of people still believe that Sandy has it in him to get back.
No, for sure. I'm just using this as the example of, I wonder if this is the next deal for a guy that's looking for an extension. All right, I'll sign with you, get the extension done. That's a good deal for them. By the way, credit both sides for doing what needed to be done.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
That's a great, listen, man. That's a great. Now you got the ace. You got your ace locked up.
I think it's possible, Snow, especially since he doesn't have a lot of mileage on his arms.
No.
Didn't he just become a starter like a season or two ago? It hasn't been.
Well, Snow's the White Sox fan, so he'll be able to give us a deeper, in-depth look into.
Oh, Snow, let us know how long now. I believe it's only been for like no more than a season or two. But how long has Crochet been a starter now?
He was a reliever for a little couple years, right?
Right. Very similar to same thing with the White Sox and what they did with Chris Sale back in the days.
Yeah, no. So
Chris Sale, I believe, originally was a reliever.
He was, if my math is correct. Last season was his first as a starter, says
right.
Snow. So shout out to you for that, Snow. All right, let's play a game, guys. Since we just got an extension done here live on the show, who's the next player to get an extension with his respective team?
That's a great question. Who's the next player to get an extension
with his respective team?
Who's out there, man? Help us out, guys, especially in the chat. It could be
I'm gonna say something right now. I think the next guy is Adley Rushman and the Orioles. I think they get an extension done.
I like that.
I think they extend them. I think they give him like 12 years at like 280.
Mm-hmm.
Lock him up, make him an Oriole for life.
I can see that for sure. I mean, if you didn't spend money in the offseason, at least you could do is spend some money to retain your guys, right?
I mean, at that point, shit.
Or you're just gonna allow them to walk as well.
Also, this is a little bit off the like the beaten path, but how about Kyle Riley reing up with the Mariners a couple days ago? That's a nice.
I liked it. I
like that a lot.
Now, my issue, because I don't want to say I hate it for the Mariners. Obviously, you got your guy, especially when it comes to who's gonna be your backstop for the however many years he signed for.
Yep.
But I didn't like, and I'm not saying that they did this, right? But it was also a topic here on the show. Other people chimed in as well. And we all came to the conclusion that they needed offense, right? And while it's good to be able to hold on to a guy like that, that's not exactly what we meant when we said spend some money.
No, not at all. The fascinating thing is like, I feel like they lowballed him though. I feel like he could have gotten more on the open market. With as valuable as he is, he's left-handed. You're catching. That's a very valuable position. You could have gotten paid. But then again, you look at what JT Realmuto got from the Phillies. You look at what the catching market is going to command. I think he did okay. I just think I wish it wasn't in Seattle. I wish he would have signed with a different organization. So A's are going to do the same thing. Going to so let's see. I like the A's. I've said it. Their pitching is no joke. By the way, they lost yesterday, but JP Sears pitched a gem against Seattle. Luis Severino was good the other night too. Against
I was just going to say that. Severino picking up where he left off last season with the Mets, but now with the A's, looking good.
He threw a changeup the other day. Yo, that horizontal grip, that shit started at the left-hander's hip, and that shit ended up on the outside corner. I was like, that's disgusting.
I saw some Mets fans putting some post out online, and some of them were saying like, yo, we really let this go, and he didn't really cost much.
He, for a pitcher, they basically got him for free. If we're being honest, he didn't
especially coming off of the season that he had.
And he could have had $35 million a year, yeah. Rengifo will be royal by August. Interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I'm gonna go ahead and say this for the record. Here's my main extension target. I think first of all, I think Luis Robert gets traded, and I'm going to give you a place where I think he's going to get traded.
Speaking of Luis Robert, while I agree with you, did you hear what he said a few days ago?
Yeah.
He was basically asked if he's actually surprised at the fact that he's still on the team. He said
yeah. I saw that.
Yo, certain players, man. And I like players who, don't have a filter.
Listen,
very yo, this is what it is,
I love the honesty. I wish more players were honest, but when more players get honest, we kill them for being honest. So it's like, why even be honest at this point? My best bet is that Luis Robert is going to be wearing one of two uniforms come, couple months from now. One is he could be wearing a Philadelphia Phillies uniform. That's the first one.
I like that.
And the second one is he could be wearing a Boston Red Sox uniform.
Wow. Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because if Devers doesn't find it, and if Devers continues to struggle, you're going to have to supplement this offense somehow. And I think the Red Sox are at a point where you just signed Crochet. You got a lot of young players that are trying to figure it out. You need some offense. And I don't know if you can continue to just hope and pray that they figure this out.
You have some guys from
San Diego.
right. Yeah, we've talked about them here on the show, Snow.
Mm. See, but I don't know if AJ Preller. I don't know if the White Sox want major league talent in return for him. I would think they want minor league talent. I take Boston too. But by the way, Snow, because you're in Chicago. What is the vibe with the White Sox right now? Are you in the city? Are you in Chicago? Where are you living currently?
That's a good question.
He is a White Sox fan, so I want to see if there's what the vibe is around them right now, and what does it look like, because it got to be rough. It feels like you're playing borrowed time with some of these guys, like Robert, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, I not only do I think the White Sox have held on to him for a little too long, but I'm right there with him, and him saying that, yo, I'm surprised that I'm even here still. I thought I would have been gone by now.
Snow's a White Sox fan, TD. He's a White Sox fan.
Yes.
His first line on the show was, "Unfortunately, I root for the White Sox."
Yo, by the way, TD, you're a Red Sox fan. Snow, you're a White Sox fan. Red and white together. What are we talking about? Pink socks? Red and white together make pink.
Oh, man. Speaking of the Cubbies, Kyle Tucker looks good in that uniform, huh?
Yeah, man. He knows what's waiting for him at the end of this year.
Oh, you're in Cali. Wow. What part of Cali are you in, brother?
Being a White Sox fan and you're in Cali, man, I know it must piss you off to hear nothing but the Dodgers all the time.
Damn, bro. Shrek says pink socks is wild.
Yo, Shrek, don't make me get a pair of pink socks, man. I'll bring the OVO shirts back. I'll rock the Stroman jersey. Don't test me, bro.
Oh my God. I don't think this happens.
No, I think there are other teams who are gonna be willing to offer more. That's why I don't think it's gonna happen.
I think the Mets are gonna be in this mix. I think the Yankees might be in this mix as well. I'll throw another team out there, watch the Cincinnati Reds in that ballpark with Terry Francona. You know they want to spend some money at some point.
And also, too, TD, Kyle Tucker's a winner, right? Like, he's coming from
Northern
Houston Astros and what they have been over the past few years. I know they're no longer the same team, but really, like, the Cubs are not that. At least not with the other teams in the National League.
I would say, nah, but he's a Scott Boras client, so that goes out the window. He ain't doing that.
The waiting game is Scott Boras' favorite game to play.
Nah, yeah, for sure. He's not just gonna give up like no way. That's not happening.
Well, to his point though, right? To his point, because I don't want to knock it completely, but I could see the Cubs maybe offering something, whether it be during the season or in the off season. I just don't think that their offer is going to be what other teams
to get him to sign. Yeah,
are going to want to do. You know,
because I think
Kyle Tucker's a hell of a player.
Listen, I think if the Yankees offered $760 for Soto, I think they got $500 million sitting in the bank for Kyle Tucker very easily.
You think the Yankees are going to be in on Kyle Tucker?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I think he would be good at Yankee Stadium.
I think they know that, which is why Bellinger's on a short-term deal, right? Like they didn't lock up any major outfield pieces. They're trying to be fiscally responsible at a point where you think Scott Boras.
Yes. Yes. Snow, we actually talked about that. What was it, Stefan? Like 2 weeks ago, maybe? It was like 2 weeks ago? Yeah.
3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
If you don't want to actually watch the live show, because you got to skip through and find when we actually get into that, we have a short out where we spoke about, the situation between Garrett Cole and the Yankees and the whole opting out situation. Check that out, bro.
Yeah. Ivan, you're making my point. I think the Cubs will tempt. Yeah, I don't think that gets it done.
450, nah, bro.
I don't think that gets it.
He's easily worth 500 plus.
500. Because if you're getting Vladdy 550, then he might be worth 550, 600.
Kyle Tucker's a better player.
Easily.
overall. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Better fielder, has more speed.
Can do a little bit of everything, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Oh, Jock Peterson was almost a Met, by the way.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, Jock Peterson was almost a Met before he went to Arizona. The Mets were close to getting him done, but before he went to Texas, excuse me.
Yeah,
Before he
because he's
signed
with
with
the
the
Rangers
Rangers.
now,
Yeah.
right?
But the Mets thought they had him. Yeah. So that's interesting though.
TD, I think your point would make more sense if the lockout were to happen after the season.
But you still got 2 years left. You still
Right.
got 2 years left.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I don't care about
I
that.
think Kyle Tucker ends up with the bigger deal, bro.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm
And
I'm I'm not trying to crap on your point. I
nah,
understand what
but
you're saying, but just the talent itself, remove the ticket sales, remove him being a better hitter.
yeah.
Just put the two right alongside each other. Kyle Tucker's a better player. I'm
Kyle
sorry.
Tucker he's a more well-rounded player. Not even that
Right.
he's better, he's just more well-rounded.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Where if put Kyle Tucker's skill set on a team that needs to win a championship, I think the championship team is taking Kyle Tucker over Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yes.
I really do.
Right.
I think if you gave general manager Stroot serum, I think Kyle Tucker is a guy that you build around. Wait, he just committed a base running error right now? Also, there's 6 of you guys in here. Throw a 6 in the chat for us one time.
By the way, too, for those of you who are watching the show and maybe you have a game going on at the same time, if there's anything crazy, now I'm not telling you to give us the pitch count and none of this stuff. If there's anything that happens while you're watching the show and you're watching a game at the same time, yo, let us know in the chat because we're not going to be able to catch that ourselves. But like I said, it got to be something crazy. Don't come here telling me somebody's 0 for 3 with like 2 strikeouts and a fly out. Like, I don't care.
Nah, I want to know if somebody got 2 homers, about to hit a third.
Right.
Yeah.
Or no hitter, perfect game. You know.
By the way, you want to hear something crazy? Martin Perez had a no-hitter going through 5 in the White Sox game against the Twins today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yo, that Twins team is bad, man. Really bad. Like, I'm sorry, but when it comes to the Central, I'm only concerned about the Guardians, the Royals, and I think the Tigers have entered that conversation.
Tigers are there, yeah.
Like the Twins, for me, you could kiss them goodbye.
Oh, yeah. I'm right there with you.
Not the Twins, excuse me, but I think the Tigers have now become a better team than what the Twins are.
I'm gonna be honest. I think the Tigers got better pitching than the Indians right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like if they fell off so hard. Yeah. Which is why I'm gonna keep beating this drum. Get Carlos Correa in a Yankee uniform, please and thank you.
Mm-hmm. Get Carlos Correa out of there,
please.
Get Pablo Lopez a new home as well. Get him out of there too. Get a couple of guys off the Minnesota Twins for real.
Yeah. The disrespect. I'm just joking.
Well, what if I told you this? No, I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
No.
But what if I told you that I'm more interested in the White Sox than I am in the Twins?
That's kind of crazy.
Better? I mean, no shade. I'm just saying though.
So,
but Snow, where he knows where I'm.
No, he's showing. It was a joke. He just said just joking. Pablo Lopez is interesting. Yes,
I think Pablo Lopez could help a few teams out.
Pablo Lopez to the Orioles would feed generations of Oriole families. Can we make this happen, please?
That would be dope for sure. Yeah,
please. Pablo Lopez to the Mets would help Met fans. Help us out, y'all, please. By the way, Nolan Arenado is looking good right now. You see Nolan this weekend looking like Nolan?
He's getting ready to pack his bag soon, bro. He got to be prepared. So why not go out on a bang to increase his value?
I'm going to tell you something right now. Yo, bro, you know, this weekend, Nolan Arenado hit a 98-mile-an-hour fastball for a home run since the first time since 2022. He had to turn 98 around in 3 years. Why is that important? it's important because if he can continue to show that he got bat speed and still plays a capable third base, somebody will trade for that guy.
He's gonna be able to help a team out.
Somebody will trade for him. Yes.
Yeah.
And I wonder, listen, there's gonna be a team that needs a third baseman. I'm gonna watch the Yankees, even though they say they're not interested. I'm gonna just watch them. I'm gonna watch the Mets because I think if you gave the Mets truth serum, I don't think they love Vientos at third. I think they'd love to put Vientos at DH and let Alonso play first and move either Nolan or Correa to third to play for the Mets. I think that would be a thing for them. Also, you can always use the offense, right? The thing with both of those players is they have no trade clauses. I think Nolan's more apt to either use his, because remember, Correa was almost a Met before he
I remember
ended up with the Twins. So I think that there's something there, and I think there's something to Correa with the Yankees too, because I think just New York at this stage in his career, because you look at him with the Twins, and he's like, this experiment has like run its course. We're done.
Well, I mean, you just mentioned one team, right? Who he almost ended up with, the Mets. But not only did he almost end up with them, he was almost a Giant as well.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I just think that, ultimately he went right back to the Minnesota Twins because that was really the only team who was
going
to take him,
give him what he wanted. Yeah,
knowing his condition. Yeah, exactly. Damn, it is raining so hard right now, folks. I'm sorry, but I got the window open just a tad, and
you hear it?
That thing is doing, the rain is doing its thing right now.
Oh shit. Was those rumors true about Nolan wanting to go to the end? Nah, I don't know if they were true or untrue. I will tell you is
there were conversations though, right?
They did have conversations that John Mozeliak and Brian Cashman talked, but they didn't bring the deal to Nolan because it was a non-starter offer by Brian Cashman. So
right.
I think if Cash gets serious, because Cash has been saying on the record to beat reporters that will listen, we're looking for a right-hand bat that can provide us with some thump, but they scored 36 runs, so I think they're fine.
Oh, by the way, speaking of that Yankee lineup, we're getting closer to the end of tonight's show, which is when we usually start to freestyle and basically talk about whatever we want, even if it's not baseball related. But what I'm about to share with you guys is baseball related, right? But one last time, before we spend like the next 10 to 15, you think, Stefan, right?
Yeah, about that.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. All three are at 27outs3C. Shout out to all of you guys who have been showing us a lot of love here tonight.
The chat is jumping. Yo, Dollars, thanks for the
shout out to
share
everybody who really enjoyed the opening day content. A lot of you guys enjoyed the show. I think the show got about 15 likes. And then the shorts from that also did a hell of a job as well. So shout out to you guys for that too.
For sure. One of our shorts right now, because I'm looking at it, why hasn't Brett Beatty been able to do it in the big leagues? Is almost at 700 views. So
right.
you guys are rock stars. Shout out to you, man. That's a hell of an accomplishment. Chad, thank you for the share on Facebook. We appreciate it.
Thank you, bro.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, look. Hold on. Are the Brewers buyers or sellers this year? That's a very interesting question. The question is, what do they have to sell?
Right. I think not most, but I'd say at least like they've gotten rid of half of it.
Freddie Peralta is a guy you trade, right? He looked good against the Yankees on opening day. So maybe he's a guy you trade, maybe to Baltimore or maybe to somebody that needs pitching. But I also don't think that ownership group is just going to give up on a season that easily. Now, 0-4 or 0-4 will make you, start scratching your head and wondering if this is the right thing to do.
And that's with less talent now, too. Like they're not as good as they once were. They're not as good as they were last season.
They're not as deep as they were last year either. You know what I'm saying? So it's and nobody wants Yelich's contract, especially coming off a back injury. That's tough.
Right.
Um, I will tell you. I'm gonna mention your boy Ivan. So start smiling now because I'm gonna mention your boy
Who's my boy?
Luis Ariz.
Right.
I have a destination for Luis Ariz in mind, and I'd love to see him go here. And I think it makes that team better, and I think it sets them up for a hell of a run in the future. I
Mhm.
like to see Luis Ariz with the Texas Rangers.
Okay, that would be interesting. I mean, they already have a great lineup, but to be able to insert him into what they already have, that would be good.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think Luis Ariz also, like I could think Luis Ariz in Philadelphia makes a lot of sense to me, but they got Schwarber, so I don't know where you'd play him. By the way, Schwarber hit a home run today. My God, he hit
Hmm.
the shit out of this baseball. But Luis Ariz is definitely going to help somebody. The question is, what do you get back in value, and where do they trade him? I like Luis Ariz in Detroit with the Tigers, helping that young lineup. Doesn't give you the thump, but also gives you a professional hitter. And with his bat to ball skills in that ballpark, he's going to be hitting rocket doubles all over the place in that yard.
Yeah.
He's gonna if the Tigers really want to invest in some offense, that's a guy I'd go get
Hmm.
if I were um if I were the Tigers. But anyway, guys, you got 10 minutes. What's on your mind, man? Give it to us. Tell us something that you think we should be looking out for. Tell us something that you think we should be concerned about. And I have a braggadocious statement to. I have a sad statement to make, but I think it needs to be made. Do we have any sad music? I want to play some sad music. Do we have any sad music in here somewhere? I need some sad music or some sympathy music, something sad. Because what I'm about to say is really sad. Max Scherzer, it is time to retire, my boy. Happy trails to you on a hell of a career.
Hall of Famer at that.
But you are looking, yo,
Time is up. That's it. Father Time has caught yet another victim.
dog. You a lat strain and you only pitched 2 innings and you even look, he's looking old in the face. It's time to go, my boy. Like I get it. You want to be competitive, but like, god damn.
Hmm.
Ooh wee.
I think a lot of guys they get so accustomed to living their lives a certain way for so long, and not just the money aspect, like even disregarding that, just how they actually just start their years, when they start to actually work
Yeah,
out and prepare for a season. A lot of guys actually enjoy what they do off the field as well. Like
it's
it
true,
becomes a part of
man.
their everyday lives. And I don't know this to be true for Max, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it's one of those things where it's like, yo, I've been doing this now for 20 plus years,
Yeah.
probably. I don't want to stop yet. This is all I know. It'll feel
And
very
also,
different.
retirement is hard, man. Going home to the wife, having to deal with her yelling, yo, bring the kids carpool soccer. Go here, go there. Now you gotta be a dad. That's
Don't forget having to bring her to places now, too, if you're available.
yeah, no, we
Because
going on
now
vacation.
she don't got to drive.
Yeah, no, we going on vacation. I'm spending half your money. We going to every island I didn't hit when you were playing. It's time, you know what I mean?
That's funny.
Because now the second half of the career, the second half of life is about the wife.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So now it's about the what? How do I know about the wife? How do I know about the? I mean, let's just say, let's just say, you know, I don't think it's that
That's
hard
a
to
great
figure
point,
out.
Shrek. Yeah, those three,
Yeah.
all three of them, man. I've got nothing bad to say about either guy.
Nope.
They're all winners actually. Kershaw, Max, and
Verlander. Yeah.
Verlander as well.
And Verlander looked good the other day in against Cincinnati. He looked good. He looked good. Listen, they're the last of the Mohicans in terms of going deep into games, caring about the win, not wanting to be
Hmm.
pulled after 5 innings. They're the last of the old school left. So shout out to them, man.
Yeah, it's a dying breed. It
Yeah, for
really
sure.
is.
For sure. Innings eaters and guys that want to go out there and pitch and give it their all. Yep, for sure. Verlander can still go. I wonder if the Giants are kind of scuffling at the break. I wonder if there's a trade potential, for him to get traded somewhere. And
Back to the Astros all
yup,
over again.
yup.
What are they gonna turn Justin Verlander into? What the Braves do with Jesse Chavez? You see what they do with him every year?
Every year, like
It's crazy.
he'll go sign somewhere, he'll get cut, he'll go right back to Atlanta.
Yeah, and you know what's the crazy part? His numbers are never really good where he ends up after the Braves. It's only with the Braves that he does well.
Some people just got comfortable in their surroundings. He knows Rick Kranich very well, the pitching coach. He's probably very comfortable with the catchers they got back there. So I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. Um,
I do want to bring something up.
Go ahead.
At the top of tonight's show, maybe you were here, maybe you weren't here. Either way, that's okay because you're here right now, and that's the most important part. But we have now had our TikTok account for about a month, right? And I was reading earlier today, and I know they're gonna figure something out, right? It's too big of a platform for it to completely disappear, I would say. But it seems like the extension that the president had gotten for Americans to be able to still use TikTok as a platform here in the US, that extension, I believe, is about to come up. So now they're trying to figure out whether it's going to be sold or if Trump is actually going to get access or approval, I should say, for another extension. I would think maybe something along that lines could happen.
For sure.
So for the TikTok family, don't be surprised. It says here it's not until April the 5th, I believe. So don't be surprised if around that time TikTok ends up being down for a bit and we can't actually post there. Obviously, it's not our fault. It's the president and TikTok who got to figure that out.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you heard about it, Stefan, but there's a chance that it might go down again for a bit.
Wow.
So
all right,
just
then.
to kind of put that out there.
So
but if you are following us on TikTok, and that does happen, make sure you're following us on Instagram and also subscribe to the YouTube channel because we put out shorts. So you would still be able to get some content as well.
So, by the way, if you guys are following us on TikTok, we're gonna put a message out probably tomorrow morning at some point, or probably tomorrow midday, advising everybody. Listen, the YouTube link is in the bio. Go follow the YouTube right now because they might shut us down. So if you want more content, go follow us over there. So just to get a sense of, because we don't want to lose followers, we actually want to gain some. So the people that are over here can now come over here. You're still gonna get the same shorts and that type of content. So
yeah, for sure, guys. There's only a few of you guys here right now. But we're getting ready to wrap up. I do want to thank you guys as we gear up for what the rest of 2025 has for us. I think it's been a great start, not only with what we covered in the off season, but with our first two shows now, right into the 2025 regular season. The show that we did just a few days ago, that was fun. You guys were here, showed a lot of love during the live, also after the fact. And then here yet again tonight. So thank you guys a lot.
Salute, man.
You guys play a very, very big role in being able to help us get to where we are right now. I know it starts with us first and foremost, with wanting to put out content, wanting to interact with you guys, wanting to still work on off days. But at the end of the day, we're nothing without supporters, right? So again, thank you.
So I saw your South Freely comment earlier. He's hitting 429. So Shrek had to get that South Freely comment. Shout out to you. Moal gonna be. That should. He's on the home team, so I guess you could go broke. You could go broke. I'm going to ask this question, guys, and I want you guys to give me an answer, not now, but for next week's show.
Oh, wait, hold on. Before you ask that, Stefan, did you see this? Snow is saying do polls.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, all right. We'll do them then. We'll do some polls and we see what type of reaction we get. We have done them occasionally. We just don't get the kind of traction on them, which is why we haven't done them, but we have done them in the past. We just don't get a lot of traction. People don't vote for the polls, which is why we stopped doing them. But if you're gonna man, what's better than that? Yeah. But I'll leave you with this cliffhanger of a question, and when we come back next week, or even after the show ends, if you want to give an answer, then you can. But who are you guys' top 5 right-handed hitters of all time? Because there's been a loud chirp lately. Aaron Judge might be the best right-handed hitter ever. I'm not willing to go that far. Albert Pujols was insane. You had some right-handed hitters that were from another planet. Aaron Judge is sick, but
Well, let's make it a little more strict, Stephen. So I like the fact that you brought that up, but how about we actually are only able to name guys who we saw play?
right. Okay.
Not someone who your parents saw
Okay.
and their
Okay.
parents saw. Like, it has
Okay.
to be someone who you actually watched, within your lifetime.
I don't like him, but A-Rod was a hell of a hitter.
Right.
Pujols was a hell of a hitter. Manny Ramirez was a hell of a hitter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Miggy's another one.
Yeah,
Miguel
Miguel
Cabrera.
Cabrera. Yeah, that's. I think we're being a little bit prisoner of the moment ish when we talk about
Right.
Aaron Judge and his greatness. No, it has to be right-handed.
Adrian Beltre is another guy too.
Has to be right-handed, Shrek, because the conversation is he the greatest right-handed hitter
Now,
of all time?
Shrek, I wouldn't say that overall, but when it comes to catchers, absolutely. I think
Word.
Salvi Perez is one of the greatest catchers of all time. We could start saying that right now.
For sure, yeah. They needs to start building his plaque in Cooperstown like immediately.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I think his number eventually will be retired by the Royals.
Yep,
And I think Salvi at the end of the day makes the Hall of Fame, bro.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
I do too. But we got to see how Yadier Molina ends up first.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you seen Ted Williams play, TD? You can't say Ted Williams if you ain't seen him play. That's cheating. Because then I can easily hit you with a Joe DiMaggio out here, and we can.
That's he's being his true self. That's a Red Sox fan, bro.
Which is cool. I'm not mad at it.
Mm-hmm. Yo, TD, actually, well, I don't know if you guys, well, maybe not. Maybe you guys only had the friendship via the show, which is great. But whatever happened to Sox fan for life? I know this was like around the time where he was supposed to be let go, and I think
home,
so, right?
Yeah, come home for sure.
Yeah,
so.
man. Whenever he comes back, if he does, I gotta ask him.
Yeah, no, we gotta. If anybody has a way of getting in contact with him, shoot him a DM. You know what I mean? I did hear about that. You heard about there was a drunken story that DiMaggio was almost traded for Ted Williams, but then they ripped up the deal in the morning because they wrote him down on a napkin. They wrote him down on napkins at the bar. Too many shots of whiskey, and they were like, "Oh, let's not do this."
Yeah, this comment here by TD. All right, so you have no idea, but I'll tell you what, TD. I actually thought that about you when you were on vacation for damn near a month, bro. And then you finally came back like, I'm back, fella.
You reappeared. Yeah, you reappeared.
Right? Hitting us with the, it was work-related, this and that. No, but TD, on a serious note, thank you for coming back. After
Then he stunts and tells us he's not in the country.
Yeah.
With the big stunt on us, you know what I mean? Damn, bro. Miguel Vargas.
No, but I don't mean it in a bad way, TD, because I look forward to being able to chat with you guys, So a guy like you, TD, you've been here for some time now. Chad is another one as well. Shrek. Like we're starting to get Snow. I could see you being one of those guys as well. I know you just joined the party.
This is funny.
Tennessee to the winter meetings. Oh my gosh. Yo, Hennessy, by the way, if you're watching, sponsor the show.
Know what I mean?
I don't really drink it, but I mean,
I will for y'all for a couple dollars.
Shit, Stephen might start drinking that shit like Stone Cold. Give me a hell yeah.
What? Shit.
Oh boy. Yo, Neil Vamp, did we ever figure out who that person is or no?
Yeah, I have no idea, but thank you for stopping by, bro.
I keep seeing that name.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate
Yo,
that, bro.
it's a decade and counting, Chad. You know.
Jack on a ride. Listen, Jack Daniels, holla at your boy, bro. I'll drink some Jack. I'll drink some Jack.
Chad talking about Hennessy Pure White. Chad, what you know about that? Yo, that's no lie, bro. That's a Dominican thing, though. Hennessy Pure White is big over there.
I mean, his lady, you know what I
mean? Chad been trying new things. Yes, I am talking about you.
Oh man, yo, good looking, bro.
So, Neo Vamp, who are you a fan of, by the way? Have you ever shared that with us? Or
yeah,
we only got a few minutes, by the way, so make it quick. We gotta keep it under 2 hours for editing purposes, guys. I'm sorry, but if you could answer that quickly, it'll be cool to know. Moonshine. I thought moonshine's a little bit more like juice. I think TD. I've tried it like once or twice, but yo, he sprinkled a little what's it called? Patois, right? Is the what Jamaicans speak? I think it is patois.
On the Hennessy, he like me soon come. Me soon be in the chat. Me soon come.
Yo. Okay, Yankee fan. Put up all that comment there, Stefan, by Neo Vamp. Yankee fan all the way, but I have a decent knowledge with. That's good, bro. You know, bro. That's one thing that we like to remind everybody who watches, 27 outs, which is us, is the fact that, we have our favorite team, but just like you, we like to, talk about. Only thing is, we have a little more than decent knowledge because we're maniacs, but it's okay. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, man, for sure. One more comment. Yes, editing can take a really heavy time. Make sure. Got you, bro. Got you. Anyway, guys, thanks for tapping in. Chad, you a fool. He said soon reach.
Yo, guys, again, thank you. I don't want to say it for like the 20th time tonight.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Friendly reminder, continue to watch baseball. We're going to be back again later this week. We don't know the exact date, but we will be back with a second video.
For sure.
As always, off days is spent with shorts. So,
and real quick, if you guys have
certain things, so go ahead and check that out.
If you guys have topics in mind, hit the comment section after the video ends, and we'll look through them and we'll see what the best comments are, and we'll pick through some. So, all right, thank you guys for tapping in. We ain't got to go home, but we got to get the hell up out of here. So, peace.